Hi everyone, Meteorologist Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center for our Saturday edition of 19atSIX, our weekend weather show. Apologies for the slight delay. We were having some issues with our YouTube channel, but now we are back on and good to go. We're live wherever you stream. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to chime in on Facebook, both the Fox 19 Facebook page as well as my Facebook page at Emery WX. So hi everyone, Meteorologist Emery here. First alert weather day for tonight as well as for tomorrow morning, early morning, because of a winter weather advisory. So we are looking at some snow shower activity moving in tonight. The good news is, and I need to update the text of this, but the good news, if you don't like snow, you don't want to have any travel impacts, is that the amounts of snow have decreased in the forecast. A positive sign. However, we are still looking at some travel issues for our southern counties. Now, for the Cincinnati Metro, for Boone, Kenton, Campbell County, Hamilton County, less than a half an inch is what it looks like, more so at this point than not. But our southern counties could still see about an inch of snow. Maybe locally higher amounts are possible, especially towards Owen, Robertson, Mason, Lewis counties. But generally speaking, the threats in the last 24 hours have begun to go down. Like I said, a positive sign to see, but regardless, we are giving you that first alert because our folks down south of the Ohio River are going to see some more impacts compared to others. So if you're in Fayette, Union, Butler, Warren, Clinton County, you probably won't see as much. In fact, hardly anything at this point compared to other spots. So right now, this is a live look on our Fox 19 tower camera. As you can see right now, a lot of traffic out there, but I don't see any flakes falling down just yet. There are a few light snow showers that are showing up on radar and satellite. We'll take a look at that real quick, and then what we're going to do is look at that forecast first, giving you the forecast for tonight, tomorrow, and the 7-day. I usually do that first, but in the event of a first alert weather day or active weather, I show that first before the forecast first here. So here's a look at that radar and satellite. We've got some light activity now showing up over towards Decatur County, down into southern portions of Ripley, Switzerland County, down into Carroll and Owen counties. Those locations, as well as Switzerland County, Indiana, are under a winter weather advisory. So very light snow shower activity showing up there near Carrollton, and then over towards Monterey, there in Owen County. And so we'll widen this out to show you really quickly here that more's on the way. So we've been monitoring this wave of energy. We call it a short wave. And once the data comes in, give it a second to load. But this little short wave, as expected, was going to intensify a little bit near the St. Louis area. And, ooh, sorry, it's a touchscreen. But as this moves closer to us, it's actually kind of showing signs of sinking a little bit further south. This was the kind of the general movement we've seen the last few days. Up until yesterday evening, models and data were suggesting it would go further north. Now the reality has become what we've been saying prior to last night and this morning of it going further south. So we'll show you that snowfall map total here in just a second, but I want to promise our viewers within the first 5 minutes to give you that forecast first. So tonight, we've got low temperatures dipping down to, well, the mid-20s, 24 degrees here in Cincinnati. Snow showers on and off through the night until about 4 a.m. or so. But then we head into the late morning hours, so 8, 9 a.m. We're falling down to around that 24, 25 degree mark. We head into Sunday afternoon. If you're heading to the Bengals game, get the layers because it's going to be cold. Temperatures will only rise up to 32 degrees. And the 7-day forecast here, you'll see we are looking at clouds decreasing tomorrow afternoon with that Bengals game. And then we head into Monday. Clouds will increase, so it's going to be a clear, cold night for Monday. Mostly cloudy coming up Monday afternoon. And then Tuesday, a cold start with clearing skies. And then afternoon highs will break just above freezing. Wednesday, got a chance of some rain snow mix, so it does look drier now at this point. Most of the activity now looks to be staying well further north of the Fox 19 Now viewing area, high of 41. And then another dip in temperatures, colder air digging in for Thursday, Friday, into next weekend. And next Saturday, we've got isolated snow showers and a high of just 36 degrees. So again, we'll break down more details of this forecast coming up here in a few minutes. But I do want to go ahead and dive into the latest thinking with the forecast models here with the snow. Hopefully you've all had a wonderful Saturday so far. I know it's been kind of a big weekend, of course, with it being Thanksgiving weekend. Hopefully you've had some fun Black Friday shopping yesterday, or perhaps you're doing some shopping today with it being Small Business Saturday. But at this point now, people are starting to settle down and beginning to settle into the reality of that being that the real world and going back to school or work is now on the minds of everybody for tomorrow, with it tomorrow being Sunday. But hopefully you got some good deals, whether it was Black Friday shopping or Small Business Saturday, helping out some of those small businesses in and around the tri-state. Okay, so here is the forecast model. This has been doing a pretty good job showing where these snow showers are. So we go into 8, 9 o'clock tonight. This will quickly expand for most of our counties in northern Kentucky, even in portions of the Cincinnati metro in Boone, Kent, and Campbell County. So if you're in Florence around 9 o'clock, you might see a few light snow showers. Now we go ahead and go forward in time. You see some of this darker shade of blue here. You see that darker shade here, darker shade showing up right in here. Most of this is going to stay south. However, some of it will clip into our southern counties. This is 1, 2 a.m. You still see some of that snow shower activity, pretty much encompassing everyone along and south of the Ohio River. Again, it's something we've been saying the last few days, but it's finally becoming into existence here at this point. So we go into 2, 3 a.m. The snow showers will begin to dwindle, begin to lighten up as this system is going to continue to move into portions of eastern Kentucky and eastern Tennessee. 4 a.m., you got some of these snow showers. You head into 6, 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, and eventually it will dry out. Now, could there be a few flurries, especially to our southeastern counties? I think there will be a few flurries. If you're in Maysville, West Union, Vanceburg, perhaps over towards Mount Olivet, would not be surprised to see that. But when it comes to snowfall totals, we're not looking at anything majorly impressive, but enough to where we want to give you that first alert with the snow for especially areas to our south. So this is showing that areas, again, along and south of the Ohio River could see up to an inch of snow. I do think locally there could be amounts higher than an inch, and that will be reserved particularly for areas such as Carroll County, Owen, Grant, Pendleton, Bracken, Robertson, Mason, and Lewis counties. The areas that are under a winter weather advisory. I do think that those areas have the best opportunity to maybe see more than an inch of snow. Areas north of that, so let's say you're in Ohio County or Dearborn, Ripley County. If you're in Boone, Kent, and Campbell in the southern half of those counties. If you're in Claremont, Brown, Adams, even Highland County, less than an inch. I would say even less than a half an inch for most of those spots. And if you're in the northern half, so if you're in Connorsville, Liberty, Oxford, Middletown, Hamilton, Lebanon, Waynesville, Wilmington, I don't think you're going to see much of anything. If anything, maybe a dusting on top of a vehicle that's been sitting out all day today and is cold enough. But I don't think anything more than that's going to really transpire for you. So that's the full map you can see there. Now this is just a forecast model. I didn't have a chance to actually make the map completely, but if I had to make that map, it would be pretty much areas here, 1 inch plus, areas here, half an inch to an inch, areas up here, little to nothing at this point. All right, we got some comments on our Facebook page, both the Fox 19 Facebook page as well as my Facebook page. We'll begin first with Fox 19 Facebook page. Okay, Susan says, good evening, Ethan. Good evening to you as well. Susan wants to bring that further north. They want the snow. I'm sure. It's funny. It's so funny how in this area you get, it's almost like a division. It's almost like, I would say in the weather world, it rivals with the Moeller-St. X rivalry of either want snow, you love snow, or you absolutely despise it and hate it and want nothing but warmth. There's no middle ground. It's always one or the other. So glad to hear, Susan, somebody who's pro snow. Susan also says, it's weird how all the snow systems, I'm assuming what you're meaning, go south of us anymore. My daughter lives in Kentucky, and they have had more snow than us last year, and looks like this year also so far. Well, these little clippers can sometimes make a dive and cut through there, but I will say, you go further north, you go towards Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, all the Great Lakes, along the western and southern shores of those lakes, a lot of lake effect snow. I think I saw more than 2 feet of snow in some places up there, so quite significant. So if you want the snow, you got to live off the coasts of the Great Lakes. But yeah, Susan, with this kind of dipping a little bit further south, it's not all that surprising. You get little clipper systems like this that sometimes do dip south, but it's not winter yet. I wouldn't jump to conclusions just yet, Susan. Kimberly says good evening. Good evening to you. Linda says, don't like it this cold. Guess we aren't used to it. Yeah, it's been definitely a big shocker with temperatures, especially when you compare it to what it was like just like a month ago. But in the same breath, this isn't uncommon. So definitely cold, but definitely manageable. Betty says good evening. Good evening to you. And Betty says we're here in Lawrenceburg. No snow yet. Okay, that's good to know, because sometimes radar can not always show the ground truth. So anytime we get reports for weather, we always appreciate it, because sometimes radar is not 100% when it comes to actual observations. So you can see right here, it does show maybe a flurry, maybe a light snow shower perhaps towards Lawrenceburg, but as you just said, you didn't see anything. So it's good to know, Betty. Thank you. Lori says, good evening, Ethan. I seen on Wednesday a wintry mix. I have to be on the road by 9:30. Is it going to do anything, or leave early just in case? I would say you can leave on time. The moisture for that, Lori, has actually gone down a lot, so I don't think you got to have much of an issue with it at this point. But I would say nothing that is going to be an issue for you. So you're good to go for Wednesday morning at this time, Lori. Betty says it's very cold and windy. Yeah, it's been blustery out there today. We've seen gusts around 25 miles per hour or so, which gives you wind chills in the teens and 20s. So it is kind of a blustery day. Angela says snow can stay away. I get it. You're obviously pro-warm. We have some people in the comments saying pro-snow. And then Joey saying blue catfish still biting. Have fun. If you can withstand the cold and the wind, hats off to you. Look at my Facebook page real quick, and then we'll move on. My buddy from our sister station in Sarasota commented, we love Ethan Emery, Brendan Mackey. Thank you, Brendan. One of my, the first best friend I made in TV. He and I worked together in Rapid City. We're going to try to hang out soon. We were talking about when we could hang out again, but our schedules are very complicated being in TV, so we're going to try to figure that out maybe after the holiday season, try to pick a date for me to fly down to Florida. Thank you, Brendan. Appreciate the comment. Glenn says we are leaving Alabama tomorrow to come back home. You might run into some snow on grassy surfaces and roadways in central Kentucky. So I'd say between Richmond and pretty much Walton, Kentucky. I'm not sure where your home is, Glenn, whether it's in northern Kentucky or Ohio or Indiana. But I would say, Glenn, let me switch the cameras here. Okay. I would say for you coming back from Kentucky, or from Alabama, pardon, I would say from here to about here, will you look at the roadways being not concerning, but enough to where you want to drive with caution in the morning, just because of the fact that there will be some snow perhaps on some of those side roads, as well as on elevated surfaces. But the interstates, usually road crews do a pretty good job at taking care of those, so I don't see a major issue with that. But those are the areas, if you're traveling back from Alabama, I'm assuming you're going to take 65 and eventually split off into Louisville, or maybe you might go the long route. Maybe you're going towards Lexington. I don't know. But I would say just keep in mind that the area I have circled here, so north of Bowling Green and south of Walton, you could be running into perhaps snow possibly sticking on some portions of the roadways there. And if you are going through Bowling Green, there's a lot of cool things you can see and do. A lot of good food places there. I lived there for a couple of years, loved it. But safe travels to you, Glenn. Betty asking, will we have a warm-up? Yes, we will. In fact, I'll show you the 7-day forecast now. The 7-day forecast is relatively quiet, aside from tonight into tomorrow morning. So here is that 7 day. So tomorrow afternoon, you'll see some sunshine, otherwise mostly cloudy, high of 32. Monday clouds will increase and a high of only 29. So Monday's will be really cold. So keep that in mind for both the bus stop in the morning for the kids, as well as heading off to work or school. Get the defrost on high, get that heater on. Hopefully you have some seat warmers. I didn't get seat warmers until a couple of years ago. I had an old car, didn't have that. So that's at one point I thought of it as a luxury. Now I see it as a necessity, especially when you got temperatures like this. But the warmest day, in the 7 day at least, is 41 degrees. So it's going to be mild, but still below normal for this time of the year come Wednesday. But then we have another cool down going into the end of next week into the following weekend. But to answer your question fully, Betty, warm up, depends on your definition of warm. Wednesday is the warmest of the next 7 days. I will say I've been working on the 14-day forecast. It's just not quite ready yet, but there are signs of 40 showing up by that week. So the second week of December does show signs of it getting a bit warmer here in the tri-state. And by warmer, I mean highs in the upper 30s and low 40s, and lows in the upper 20s and low 30s. There's a positive with that. Okay, Elisha, if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Asking about Georgetown, Ohio when it comes to snow. I showed the forecast map a moment ago. Well, this is a model, but it's fairly consistent with what I think. Georgetown, okay, the number's a little bit off. I don't think it's going to be quite that high. But Georgetown, less than an inch. I think it's going to be closer to a half an inch than an inch. And initially, it'll melt a little bit, but it will stick in a lot of places because the ground temperatures have cooled down the last couple of days. And with it happening at night, surface temperatures are cold enough for snow to stick. And it's enough to why we've issued a first alert weather day for our southern counties where a lot of rural roads, bridges, overpasses could be dealing with some slick road conditions. So for Georgetown, I would say late tonight, you will see perhaps a few slick back roads, but nothing of significance. In fact, I would say that arguably the areas that will see more impacts than not are our southern counties. But Georgetown, enough to where some back roads could see some slick spots, but less than an inch for you. If you're heading to the zoo tonight, safe travels, of course. Haven't seen any reports of snow showers yet. Radar does show something over to our south and west, but depends on how late you're staying at the zoo. If you're staying at the zoo until 11 p.m. midnight, you'll probably be running into some snow showers. But I would say based on, this model's overdoing it a little bit. Let's take a step back. Here we go. So I'd say between 9 and 10 is when the snow showers are going to begin to show up for folks over towards Georgetown. But we go into the overnight, you will see that it will remain. And then about 4 a.m. or so, most of the activity is going to begin to move out. Oh, Alicia says for tomorrow. You're going to the zoo tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, the roads should be fine by tomorrow, mid-morning, afternoon. The temperatures we're seeing tonight into tomorrow morning are excellent when it comes to road crews, because depending on the salt that they have, whether it's county, state, township, city, whatever, salt is very effective anytime the temperatures are warmer than, say, 22, 23 degrees. Overnight lows, you see behind me, mid to upper 20s. So I think once morning happens, most roads should be cleared out if there are any slick spots. Most of the roads, I think, are not going to have any major issues, but back roads, side roads, bridges, overpasses might see a little bit of snow sticking on the roads, but not enough to where it's going to be an all-day issue tomorrow. In fact, maybe at best just a couple of mornings. Oh, my buddy is texting me still, Brendan. Shout out to you again, buddy. All right. We'll look at some comments on my Facebook page real quick. Cindy says, hello. I still hate this, referring to the snow, although they said another S word I can't say here. Hey, the good news is that after tonight, it looks like we're going to be mainly dry the next 7 days, I should say the next 5 days. Next weekend, we might run into a little bit of rain-snow mix moving in. Now, Wednesday, we do have rain-snow mix too, but it does not look to be much of an issue at this point. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up that forecast graphic for you. And this forecast model has done a fairly good job with this system we are currently tracking right now. Those snow showers, they're not anything that is of major concern. It's just enough to where it's a nuisance for our folks along and south of the Ohio River. So we go into tonight. Notice this darker shade of blue. This is the most intense part of the little band of snow we're seeing. Notice it's kind of following I-64. This is like I would call this an I-64 clipper, just because of the fact that it's basically following the interstate there. But for us, we're seeing kind of the lighter half, the northern half of this little clipper system. We play it forward in time. Again, notice the darker shades of blue pretty much follow I-64 into West Virginia. For us, we're on the northern half, so it's got to deal with a little bit of that colder air cutting into it. So it kind of lessens the amount of snow. And usually these clipper systems don't bring in a lot of snow as it is. It's just enough to create a nuisance for some roads, bridges, overpasses, sidewalks, but it's not enough to be all-out closures, all-out delays. Though I will say our southern counties, so if you're in Carroll, Owen, Grant, Pendleton, Bracken, Robertson, Mason, and Lewis counties, as well as Switzerland County, can't forget you folks there in southeast Indiana, I would say that if anything were to transpire about this, it'd be maybe a couple of Sunday services might have some delays, or perhaps postponing it to the evening, because some of those back roads, there's a lot of back roads in these counties here. They're a little more rural, and I grew up in a rural area, so I totally understand the viewpoint of, you don't want folks falling on sidewalks going to Sunday service. But these are areas I think are going to see, the areas in purple here, I think could see more than an inch of snow. Now, I don't think 2 inches is on the table for us at this point, though locally it can't be ruled out. Very isolated, though. Most of the heavier stuff, which will be closer to 2 inches, will be south of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. So let's go back to that model. I wanted to show Wednesday, but I got too caught up with tonight and to tomorrow morning. Betty says, happy late Thanksgiving. Happy late Thanksgiving to you too. And I did see your comment about what I did on Thanksgiving. I was here, and I got to spend the morning at least with my aunt and uncle and cousins. We had a Thanksgiving brunch. And my actual Thanksgiving, I had that on Tuesday with my dad and sister, brother-in-law, and grandma. My mom, shout out to you, Mom. She's watching right now. Had to do she went through a medical procedure, so she couldn't come up here. But I wanted to go down and see her, and I almost took some time off to do that. But she told me, Ethan, stay there. Keep doing what you're doing. I can watch it from here, and we'll plan to come up there sometime in December. So looking forward to seeing her, to celebrate Thanksgiving with her, and as well as Christmas. So that'll be something for then. So again, Sunday we're dry. Once the snow shower activity moves through late tonight into tomorrow morning, we're looking at dry conditions on Sunday afternoon. Clouds will partially break away, but then clouds will quickly build back in Monday afternoon into Monday evening. I'll take a pause real quick because somebody commented, Hamilton, Ohio. Joshua, little to no snow for you folks. In fact, it's going to be less than a half an inch. I wouldn't be surprised if it's nothing more than a dusting. So Joshua, no issues for you or concerns with regards to accumulating snow. The model trends have continued to push this thing south in the last 24 hours, and it's a lot more consistent now. And for the fact that it's already coming in, I'm a lot more confident in saying that. So you're good, Joshua. Okay, so Monday, clouds are increasing. Then we go into Tuesday, clouds are increasing on Monday. Tuesday, we got partly cloudy conditions. And then we head into Wednesday of this upcoming week. And I mentioned this system has moved a bit further north. Well, you can see it here. All the moisture associated with this area of low pressure come Wednesday of next week is all lifted north. In the backside of this, very light rain, very light. And this is consistent amongst other models too. So I'm a lot more confident with saying that Wednesday, we have a chance of seeing some light rain snow mix, but we're not looking at anything that's going to be substantial or anything that's going to be of an issue. Just be a few raindrops, maybe a few flakes coming down on Wednesday, but nothing more than that. Joshua says, "Who day?" And then Betty says that they got sick. I'm sorry to hear that, but they're still got a cold. Hopefully you recover soon, Betty. Sorry to hear that. Never good when you're not feeling well. Look at my Facebook page real quick. See if we got any additional comments or questions there. Nothing there. Okay. Okay, so where was I? Oh, Wednesday, a chance for a rain-snow mix as well as Wednesday night. But by Thursday, that colder air, it's slicing through the tri-state. And the cloud cover is something I'm going to question. I think we might see more cloud cover on Thursday. But as of right now, I just have it partly cloudy. It's going to be really dependent on the extent of this thick cloud cover. I would not be surprised if Thursday we see more cloud cover move in. But at this point, we're just going to call it partly cloudy. But we do look dry at this point. So that's Thursday of next week. We go into Friday. You can see here, we got cold air overhead. And then we head into Saturday. We got moisture moving in Saturday afternoon. So this is next Saturday, December 7th. I would argue the best football team in Ohio will be playing that Saturday up in Detroit, the Bobcats. OU, oh yeah. Sorry for Buckeye fans. That was a wild ending to the game. I'll just put it that way. And our sports team is going to have a lot more on that tonight on Fox 19. We are going on late, by the way. So if you want to stay up with us, stay up after 11, you most certainly can. But if not, everything will be on our social media as well as our website, fox19.com. but maybe you're heading up to Detroit, not just for the Bobcats, but also the Redhawks. Miami is going to be heading up there as well. Be a very good MACtion game, Battle of the Bricks 2.0. And I will say, if you're traveling up on Friday or Saturday, could be looking at some snow showers along I-75 up towards Detroit. So something to monitor as we get closer. But they're playing at a dome, so game conditions won't be an issue, but traveling certainly could be. And this is going to actually bring us some warmer air. Milder air will move in heading into that second full week of December. So this is December 10th. And I do have rain in the forecast because this model and another model does support chances for moisture to move in. So December 10th, 11th, and 12th right now do look like highs will be in the upper 30s and low 40s, and lows will be in the upper 20s and low 30s. So what looks like rain in the day and a rain-snow mix at night kind of scenario, or a cold rain, if anything, around that time frame. But we're not looking at any major snow systems. We're not looking at any kind of major Arctic blasts of air at that point. It just looks a little bit milder, a little more seasonable for this time of the year. Now again, the coldest day, undoubtedly, is Monday. High of only 29 degrees. And something you might have just now noticed, I just now noticed it, I made the forecast, but I forgot to even bring it up, is Thursday. Thursday morning, temperatures at 35. Thursday afternoon, just 31. Yes, temperatures will be falling through the day on Thursday. And it'll be breezy. And again, the cloud cover, I have a little bit of questions about as to whether or not how far extensive the cloud cover will be on Thursday, but certainly enough to where it's going to be not the big talking point, of course. Talking point is going to be the cold air, 31 for Thursday. Friday, 34, and then Saturday is when that snow shower activity moves in. But do note the temperatures are warming up. So next weekend, expect to see something maybe a little more comfortable than what we've been seeing. Hey, got to look at the little positives. Maybe still too cold for you, but 36 is better than 29 in terms of temperature. Let's look at our almanac real quick. Folks might be asking what today's high temperatures and low temperatures were. Today's high was 34. Morning low was just 16, so a very cold start. In fact, this is, I believe, the coldest air we've seen since February. So if you thought it was cold, it was. I just not much else to say about that. But yeah, certainly a cold day. Certainly a cold day tomorrow too. So for the Bengals game day as your official flagship station of the Cincinnati Bengals, this is the game day forecast. 1 o'clock at Paycor. Tailgating, just the mid-20s. By kickoff, 31. And by halftime, we might see a few more breaks in the clouds, so some more sunshine perhaps, and 32, which tomorrow, 32, is our official high. So that's it. It's going to be cold. I don't suspect to see any flurries tomorrow. I know we had that in the forecast yesterday, but it does look like drier air does eventually cut into the area. So that is a small positive for tomorrow. Joshua says, "Who day?" And also happy Thanksgiving to you from Josh. Thank you, Josh. Linda asks, snow in Ellesmere tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, the snow will be over. But Ellesmere, you might be looking at maybe a dusting to about a half an inch of snow at best tonight. Not much to be an issue, but enough to where it could be a little bit of a nuisance on back roads. I think the back roads will be most concerning. I don't say even concerning. Concerning is not the right word. But something to keep an eye on for our southern counties, areas that are in the winter weather advisory, areas in purple here. But in Ellesmere, I would say that you could be looking at up to a half an inch of snow there at this point. But thank you, Linda, for commenting, and thank you, Joshua, for also commenting. on the Fox 19 Facebook page. Cindy asking about a rain-snow mix morning or night. I'm not sure what day you're referring to. The rain-snow mix we have next in the forecast isn't until Wednesday. That's during the daytime hours. But it's going to be very, very light as it seems right now. But not for tonight. Tonight it's just snow. It ends tomorrow morning. It ends, in fact, near dawn tomorrow morning. So once the sun breaks, I think we're going to be mainly dry. The only places I would even think that we're going to have snow in the morning after sunrise will be in Mason, Adams, and Lewis counties. Maybe even Brown County. I'll include them in this conversation just for the sake of it being kind of on that edge. So if you're in these counties here, so say you live in Manchester, Ripley, Maysville, over towards Augusta, Mayslick, Vanceburg, Kinnickinnick, Cherry Fork, West Union. Those are areas that I think could see a few flurries tomorrow morning. But late morning, drier air eventually cuts that off. And we're looking at just mostly cloudy conditions for tomorrow midday and early afternoon before eventually you might see a few peaks of sun just before it all ends. So that is the updated forecast, your first alert forecast here. Again, we have a first alert weather day. It's just more or less to inform you that there will be some travel issues, especially to our south. These areas here in purple could be looking at some slick roads, especially back roads, bridges, overpasses, and enough to where there might be some delays with Sunday services. But I'm not looking at this to be something that's going to be creating issues all day tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, sure, but tomorrow afternoon, I think road crews can get a good grip on that, enough to where it'll be vastly improved. And especially with the fact that we could see some sunshine filter through those clouds tomorrow afternoon. But for the Cincinnati Metro, I don't see much issues at all. If anything, maybe a couple of side roads might get a brief little dusting on it, but it does not appear to be a concern right now. So that's what we've got here in the first alert forecast. So again, we're going on late tonight at around 11 o'clock or later due to college football, and we'll be there live wherever you stream. But we will have updates on the First Alert Weather app, fox19.com/weather, and of course the 24/7 weather streaming channel where you might be watching this right now. But that will be where we will be posting updates if necessary to this First Alert forecast. In fact, before we go, I will show you a live look at radar. And right now you can see we do have a little bit of that light snow flurries, perhaps a few light snow showers beginning to move into our west and southwestern counties. So Carroll, Owen counties looking at some light snow right now, and perhaps even over towards western portions of Ripley County at this time. So you can track this too on the Fox 19 First Alert Weather app, but we also have a live interactive radar on fox19.com/weather. Again, we will be posting updates as needed on the First Alert Weather app and on fox19.com and on the Fox 19 24/7 weather streaming channel. That does it for us here on this Saturday edition of our 19atSIX weekend weather show. We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock, maybe. If not, I understand. If not, maybe you'll be joining meteorologist Ashley Smith tomorrow morning as she talks about the snow that has come down for some and didn't come down for others, because our northern counties will not be really impacted by this. But then she'll also be giving you updates on the forecast for the Bengals game as well as next week. And of course, I got you covered tomorrow at 6 o'clock, Sunday edition of our 19atSIX weather show then. Hope you can join us then as well. But at this point, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, warm, and safe Saturday evening.